All right, let's try this again. Welcome back, Adventurous Guide to the Galaxy at AG Galaxy 7 on YouTube and CWire Gaming on Twitter. Now, I was gonna do like a larger version of this video and all this different stuff, but I gotta try to keep this very simple. Now, as you can see the thumbnail, this video is about black men not doing what Obama and the Democrats or some political organization, some super PAC wants, or they're not polling, they're not doing stuff. We're not getting enough simping online, and we're not having the something that we want, right? Now, it's not to say that they're not doing this for every other type of demographic out there in some way, but again, black men, they do it the most flashy and surreptitious, like, ooh, look at this type of way that they can, because like again, a lot of people around the world and in America don't necessarily know the history of America. They kind of make it like this George Orwell type deal where they have like four main events that they'll mention, right, like, oh my god, this, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, slavery, one other thing, and then everything else. That all the other stuff is fine. Yeah, you don't need to know about anything else. But then they'll also tell you about what happened, right? We tell you what happened. But a lot of people in America are like, I don't remember it happened that way. That's not, I don't know about that. And like I said, a lot of people who don't know about history. Think about how many times you've ever heard somebody like, "Oh, I don't really know about history. I don't care," and then proceed to tell you how you should think about, how you should perceive this event in history and how you should feel about this and that. So they have a title of this video. Obama says black men aren't doing whatever. Well, that's kind of what we were talking about, Mr. Obama's. Lots of stuff has been happening, and people they kind of don't really forget like that. I mean, I know people are forgetful in their everyday lives, but I mean, a lot of people really are not. And I think that's the problem here. So, a lot of people, let me reintroduce myself. I'm one of these people that they are targeting with this video. I was summoned out of my, hurricane dealing with and traveling and doing all these other things. And I was getting ready to make some other videos. I had already filmed some because there's, lots of ideas. But then I was like, hey, I don't normally necessarily always make political content because YouTube super does not appreciate that because my opinion super duper hurts privileged people's feelings. But it isn't YouTube's fault because their parent organizations forced them to do this to me. So, love you, YouTube. Don't ever be a hater again. Please try not to do that. But so we have this video of Obama at this DNC headquarters for an election campaign for this year because it's 2024. For those who don't know, for people around the world, 2024. Even years. They have elections here in the United States of America, and they're doing some presidential election, and oh my god, the amount of political phone calls coming to my phone is intense. Every other day, it's political call, Washington, D.C., this, that, just all these numbers coming, and I just reject them every time. And it makes more of them call. So for those who don't know, they're not getting the response. This is what the whole point of this Obama video is that I'll put the link in the description to some of the other different videos. If you want to see the original video, I'll put it in the description so you can check that out. Obama goes to this place, and visually, the way they present this, because remember, I took a movie and film class in high school, so I know how to do a camera angle or how they would set it up, because you'd be like, okay, they have to literally tell this person to stand there and do just like this, because it's like, because that's how it is when you're into these larger different types of organizations or these different types of media events. They have makeup art. They have people touching up your face, making you looking all like this. People aren't walking around looking like handsome Jack from Borderlands, just all the time. You know what I mean? Like, there's weather, there's sweating, it's hot. Always like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. So they have this Obama standing there with like, the little, with like I got the instead of the suit jacket, I took the jacket off, just the undershirt with a tie, and I rolled my sleeves up. They have the look. Talking to a bunch of, I guess what you would say is dark-skinned men, so you'd assume that they're black men, or that I have something to do with them, or that I connect with these people in some way. Somehow, I guess people think this, like some type of like ant antenna thing, right? And he says, you're afraid of women, and you're afraid of women if you don't vote for Kamala. Do what I say. This and that. So essentially, they're upset that they're not polling, even with their cooked polls. Like, you're in a chef's kitchen. They got these cooked polls, and they can't even cook it up to the point to where we're not getting 92% black support like back in 2008, and then less than that in 2000. I think it was like 96 or 98% in 2008, and then 95-ish% in 2012, because a lot of people, well, I guess you would say a lot of people that are interested in politics, that cared enough to vote, were starting to like have issues then. Which, like I said, I never voted for Obama because, like I said, I grew up liking to learn about the Illuminati, so I was never fooled by that. If you ever listen to Immortal Technique, Mos Def and all, they had the one song, Bin Laden didn't blow up the towers, it was you, tell the truth, and Bush knocked down the towers. That was a whole great song, fantastic song. You can look it up. I'll see if I remember correctly, because sometimes it's hard. I'll put that in the description. So like I said, that's the type of stuff I grew up on in the early 2000s and the late 90s. I came from a family that was like, unknown in some terms, these folks is evil, and they're trying to take us out. Do not like them. And I was like, yes, grandma, yes, grandpa, just like that. Called me weird, called me nerd my whole life growing up. Oh, you're weird. And now all of a sudden, oh, did you hear that there might be something wrong? Yeah, actually, I know a little bit about that. So come on into my office here. Let me open the door. All right, sit down. Here's a seat. So like I said, a lot of people in America are assuming that, all these people get to where they are because they're just swell individuals, and you're just you just don't know because you're just down there, and I'm up here. I'm looking down on you. Look at this. Oh my God. A lot of people really, they want to believe this. Like, they're like, no, you're AG Galaxy 7. You've got to be out of your... People aren't like that. Oh, here comes Meghan Markle and Harry and the Queen and the whatever that, people, oh my God. Oh, here they come. In real life, I clap for you. In real life, people see the king and the queen coming, never did any research on anything about these people. I'm sure they're really fine people. Maybe they're nice to you and all this stuff. But over here in America, some of us are not necessarily down with this person was born into a situation and you need to look up with them with reverence, even though the actual history of how they even got there and did any of this stuff isn't necessarily even something that we can even mention on camera because it's very negative, right? Yeah, so people see that type of stuff and they're like, oh, well, I don't want to know about that. I just want to worship. And then they come back they literally turn around and then be like, oh, yeah, take my opinion serious in America. Oh, my God. Those are the type of people you're dealing with in many different aspects, right? You could say left wing, right wing, religious, the Pope, the this, the that, this person from here, from there, this. A lot of people do it with a lot of stuff. It's fun because it's cool. People do whatever they want. But when you're doing it in politics and the history of America, and then when you mention black men, it becomes very specific and it becomes very unlike all that other happiness that you have in your mind and all this stuff. Yeah, no. They got Obama out here. After all the stuff that happened that we would joke about and make fun of people, because I was in the United States Marine Corps, and, right out of boot camp, we're talking about, oh, the lizard people hot, because, people were like, oh, you're so weird. But I would always find the group of people who would always be doing that. And they didn't want to hear it until now, when it's so bad that you have to okay, maybe, they got this guy Obama, a former president that used to have thousands, tens of thousands, humongous people in the crowd. He's in this room at this DNC headquarters with a couple of people, which they were probably actors or staff members or people that agree with, some political campaign, to try to get giveaways, goodies, and stuff, while everyone else, works and gets their, money cut out their check more and more to, fund lifestyles of privilege. They got them standing with these people lecturing black men. And I'm like, what black men are you talking about? Are you talking about the people that we don't know who they are, that you just randomly selected to put around you, and all the people that you never helped during the presidency? And, I don't care about Trump inherited my economy, the whole back and forth. That's just political nonsense. Here at the Adventurous Guide to the Galaxy, if you know about the Federal Reserve and you know about who really runs the show, all that political back and forth stuff, we don't really play all that stuff over here because it's fun. It's just a fun banter back and forth. But when somebody runs the show, they run the show. They don't have to ask. That's what we're dealing with. Sorry, I'm looking over at my camera. I'm seeing stuff going on. My cats are chasing things. It's funny. So when they have Obama coming out here saying you're afraid of women, no, that's silly. I don't even react to that because that's my aunt or whatever. You don't have the intellect, and you don't all these other things. I like to hang out with the brothers, and I'm like, the brothers? What is it? Oh, and okay, the accent. Maybe he's not finishing the word there. It's a little weird. And and it just, I normally wouldn't respond to stuff like this because I'm just like, whatever. I didn't vote for Obama. I don't take politicians seriously. Sorry, we be busting it up over here, and they're pressing the button on me because they want people to believe in the back and forth so they can have the fake Coke versus Pepsi, Disney fairy tale lifestyle where they continue to let things get bad and one day someone will save us. And I'm just like, stop doing that. And they're like, no. They press the button trying to mess up my views and do all that stuff. But it's like, okay, that's fine. Because like I said, there's a bunch of different people. I share a lot of stuff on my page, on my community tab. Community tab is lit. Y'all need to check it out. One of the things, one of these people who does technology stuff, Dr. Shiva, he does a lot of different stuff that I talk about. He said the future is offline. Yes, because in real life, I talk to people in real life, and I corner them in not corner them in an actual physical corner. I'm just saying because people will come up to me with stuff, and they'll be like, "Brayden, what do I think about? What do I do? What is this? What do you think I'm gonna say? You know what I'm gonna say. I crush them every time, right there in front of everybody. The more people that see it, the better, because it has to hurt. Because the more it hurts, the more you're like, "Ow, I'm gonna change." And like I said, I'll help you along the way. But a lot of people, again, I'll be online, I'll be trying to say some stuff, they're trying to press it. But again, thousands of people already turned. And that's the problem. They have all these different, a lot of people don't know about technology. Let me just fill you in, right? They have centers, facilities, if you will, where they have a lot of computer screens. And on these computer screens, they have different programs running. And they can tell how many people actually believe or don't believe stuff because they're analyzing a bunch of information that they're not telling you that they are. Oh, they wouldn't do that. They love us. Okay, keep thinking that and keep getting what you're getting. They're analyzing all types of stuff. And one of the demographics that they're a little bit ouchy about not having faith and just laying down and just not participating and actually changing anything is they have these black men who are like, we don't really do this gangbang and stuff. A lot of every black man's gangbang, Chicago, and all this stuff. I'm like, okay. There's like 20-something million black men in America, maybe more, that are actually from here. Okay, not to be rude or anything else, not to be rude or anything. And you're saying a few thousand people are gangbanging here and there, and it's just like, well, where are these other millions of black men doing? Like, where are they at? Oh, they're all doing all that. No, they're actually not. I actually do a lot of stuff. Again, that's one of those things that my visibility goes like this, visibility of ignorance and goofy stuff goes like this. Everybody assumes that every black kid is wearing like skinny jeans running around swinging a Glock with a switch on it or something. Not that Glocks and switches aren't cool, you don't have one of those, but I don't run around blasting it in the air like a bunch of government ops would have you think that's what everyone's doing. And it's the same thing with everything else. But they can tell that black men are just like, nah, we're not buying that. And like I said, they're not out there saying it for the past 10 or 12 years. A lot of them, it was one of those things to where in 2012, I noticed there was like, they did this CNN story. It was a Fox News story. There was like, you're the one person in your town who didn't vote for Obama. And there was like some white farmer guy from Texas. He's like, yeah, I'm the only guy who didn't vote for Obama in my town. He's like, I don't trust him or whatever. And then they did that same story, like with all the blowing up and the stories, the crazy, the war, the this, the that, the abortion, and then the fighting, and then the hurricanes, and all these different stuff. It just made me think of this one video where they went and did that same thing to this old black guy. You were like, you're the only black guy who didn't vote for Obama. I was like, yeah, I didn't vote for him because there's something going on. And they like made this big like news story. They were like, oh my God, it's like a Pokemon. Wow. And they were like so like, just so amazed. And I was just like, like I said, we're in the Marine Corps. We were in Okinawa. And I'm like, again, I didn't vote because I know the government's going to do whatever they want. They're not actually going to listen to you. Like, we didn't have to listen. We were doing all this stuff like, wow, look at the election. Anyway, and we just kept doing what we've been doing the whole time. People are like, I don't understand. It's because you guys don't read it. Maybe you grew up in a fairy tale land. I'm sorry, I didn't grow up having fun. I was, again, my uncle and everybody watched this. They made me read history books growing up in the 90s before, what was it? 2001 when everything was like everyone was all of a sudden like the government's our friend now. Like it just all of a sudden people just started doing that then, and I don't know. It's pretty intense. Something else supposed to happen, and everybody just kind of forgot that they were not your friend. And yeah, so that's how I grew up. So I was always very wary of this. But again, now you have people that are like, I think that there might be something wrong. And and then you have black men who are like, bro, what do you mean? Like, there's so many different black. Again, it's weird to have to like single ourselves out here, myself. But again, if anybody knows me, all you hear is this. You're like, why is he always talking about all this stuff? And then you see stuff happen. You're like, damn, Britain was saying, 10 years ago. Yeah, yes, I am known as that guy. Yeah, it is I. Hoo, ha 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 ha. Right? Because in these underground centers, in these facilities, which I know a little bit about, used to have a clearance, and I went to do some work because I used to work on electronics and computers and fiber optic cables and laptops and computer chips and all that stuff. And when I was doing other things, again, a lot of people joined the Marine Corps because they just wanted to serve and do right. I actually was thinking of all this stuff like, man, I really want to see how crazy this stuff really is. I had my job, and you're like, wow, they got a lot of random stuff going on. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Looks like some of these people was right. Whatever. Keep doing this stuff. And then you get out and you're like, oh, they wouldn't do this. And you think back and you're like, they kind of used to do that. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. And we're back. Now, in these centers, they can view different demographics of people, cell phone signals collecting, maybe they're having on a giant screen, like a lot of these black dudes are really just not going for it anymore. And you're like, man, what are we going to do about that? Yeah, where's Obama? Yeah, have him go out and shame these dudes. Yeah. Yeah, put a bunch of really, like, effeminate, like, Democrat shills and, like, DNC plants. Put them around him. Yeah, because that's what the average black guy is. What do you mean the last 20 years of propaganda? We made everybody think that they're all on drugs and doing drugs, and that's literally what they were born with, a Glock in their hand with a crack rock in the other one. I mean, yeah, but like now, okay, yeah, I mean, yes, we did go to South America in the 50s, 60s, 70s and invent the drugs, import them, and then literally be like freeze after we put it in their hand. Yeah, we did that to them, and then literally opioid crisis the rest of the white people. Yeah, we did. Yeah, okay. No, they won't. No, they won't remember any of that. We literally said Trump 60 times, and people are upset, and okay, yeah, bye. And then Obama shows up. What are you guys doing? Hey, look, you're afraid of women, and now I know that if you're gonna vote for anybody else, we have a clear choice, and the choice is one is just absolutely just insanity. And so like I said, and it's even more sinister because they have third parties, they have independent candidates, they have all these other stuff, and they always do the 50% of America believes this and that, and it's like, no, 50% of this group of dummies and 50% of this group of dummies believe in all this stuff, and they're fighting each other, and then there's the vast majority of everybody else in America that are like, what the hell is going on? Because most people are working and actually being the cogs in the wheel that make America all these different things, and now people are upset, and they're upset that they have like a large portion. Okay, now let me explain something. So, if you were growing up as a black person, right? A lot of people went to church. My family went to church all the time. My dad was married to my stepmom and stepmom. They would always go to church. A lot of my stepmom, their family went to church. Even back in the 90s, we used to go to New Jersey. We used to fly up there before they even had like metal detectors and all that stuff. I remember going as a kid. They had, they didn't really have security like that. And you go up there and go to church and do all this stuff. And so, like I said, I grew up going to church, doing all this stuff. And a lot of people don't know that the church is used to manipulate the black community. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that. No, they wouldn't do. Okay, same thing for all these other communities. It could happen. Certain areas it does, it doesn't. But it was a little bit different, right? You grew up, you went to church. Baptist church for black people is much different than a lot of these other churches. A lot of funny stories there. Not going to go into that right now, but a lot of people grew up that way, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you must hate us all if you. And then they just, with the politics, they just, oh, this is what we believe, and it's just that we just grew up Democrat. We just, we just grew. It was a church, and everyone goes to church. Everyone's a Democrat. And that's just what it is. Everything else in your life, you could be conservative, you could like outdoors, you could like guns, you could like, lifting weights, you could do all this other stuff. It's like, but we have to be Democrat. It's like, it is religion, because it literally is tied in with religion. Now, when you say that, people will say, oh, these Muslims, they're believing in Islam, and it's like a political, religious mix. I'm like, how is it any different from America? Like, oh, I believe this, that means, therefore, I have to believe this. It's like, they just ramble on with a bunch of stuff, and it's like, do you even hear yourself? All of them. That's why I don't deal with either with the political parties, because like, are you going to solve this problem, or are you going to campaign and receive donations for multiple decades while everyone starves out and you just starve them like a bunch of worms and crush them down while you just live privileged and have more stuff? That's not that's how it's always been. Newsflash. A lot of people in America are figuring it out now. Again, I'm not trying to, make this video this huge swath of thing, but for the vast majority of people who might view this video may not be black men, they may be black women, they may be white, black, Asian, from America, from all these different countries. Because I do have a lot of my viewers from different countries, but if you're going to try to share this video out for this purpose of this video, I want it to be viewed by a bunch of different people who don't necessarily subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going the way that they want it to go, right? And again, when I mention these facilities, this is real life. Like, they are actually sitting here with all this different stuff, seeing that even after all the years of growing up in the church, and you just automatically have to believe this because I believe that, and you can hear people just rambling off, enough people are just like, I don't think I can go for that, man. Or the vast majority of people who were already independent are coming out of the non-political world into the politics because they're all shuffling in, and they're like, why are they not going to the Democrats and believing this? Or why are they not being Republicans and just falling in line with the establishment? Essentially, it's the same thing. Because a lot of people are starting to make the choice between letting these people continue to ruin everything, no matter what political side they are, or stand up and make a choice. Now, again, with the round, bring it all back, they're sending Obama out because they're not getting the response. They wanted more black simps, I guess let's just call it that. And the reason why I'm even making this video is because I've seen a lot of random black dudes come out of nowhere. Never seen these dudes for any other reason, right? Never seen them for anything else. All of a sudden they show up to say, you hate women. Like, first of all, it sounds like you're trying to go on TikTok and have Kamala in the title of your video and shame people so that a bunch of women will like, oh, look at him. And then they'll be in your DMs and you can holler at them. That's what it sounds like you're really doing. Because I've been on TikTok before they kicked me off. I had it. It was actually a lot of fun. People like, oh, it's a liberal. So I was on there making videos. All them girls was like, yeah, this is so cool. And they thought I was cool. And they listened to whatever I said. They're like, wow, yeah. I changed just like that. Changed minds easily. Just like that. Never even met up with any of these people. You just change minds because you actually have to be about whatever it is you're about. But a lot of people try to come at a situation, never having known anything about it, through a political lens. And that is always, you're just going to say a bunch of crazy stuff and you don't even know it sounds crazy because you don't know anything about what you're talking about. But you're just like, oh, you see this and that. And it's like, you can tell this person's politically charged. But again, they're not getting the results that they want. The algorithms that they're running on their end is much different than what you're seeing. And the one demographic that they're like, this could be very bad for us, among other things. I'm not saying it's like the only thing you care about. They have black men. They're not on the plantation, as they say, the Democratic plantation, because Democrats owned the slaves and they did the Ku Klux Klan. They did all this different stuff. Actual real bad people that lived and did horrible things. 100 years is not that long time. People live to 100. There's still people that live are 100 years old. They're still in power. They still have all this stuff. And then, like I said, that's America. You know what I mean? It's not that other political parties aren't corrupt and didn't just, do 9/11 and all these other things that later, down the line, but that's what we're dealing with. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to think about it because it hurts. It's ouchy. My feelings. Oh, then I'd have to, go unlearn this. Too bad. Too bad. We're forcing it right now. They are running around bugging out. Algorithms is telling them the black men are not doing what we want. They're not going along with the thing. A lot of other people aren't going along with the thing either, but they're not talking to them like they're talking to black men. How dare you? Like, they'll be like, Trumpers, oh my God, there's black people joining the Trump. Like, yeah, there's a few. I've seen some black people moving over to, to the Republicans and Trump, but it's like the vast majority of them are not. The vast majority of them are kind of just like, where's my money? Y'all been playing games, doing all this other shit. Where's my money? People are like, no, you have to vote. Wait till election. I go to work at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have my money right now tonight. And a lot of other people are like, no, you have to play, you have to get in line and wait and all this other stuff. Get in line and wait. When someone steals something from you, do you get in line and ask them for it back? Do you wait? I mean, in America, yes, you have to do a civil lawsuit. You have to do all this stuff. You can't just, whatever. But again, if we're to the point to where we're dealing with mega Armageddon and they're like, oh, we're dealing with tyranny. I can't believe this. Why don't you do something about it? Oh, wait, no, let's just wait till the election, guys. Or they're thinking, oh, well, we tried that. The January 6th and all this stuff. That was a psyop, my G. They don't want to believe it. Because they're like, they look at the FBI, they look at the CIA, they look at these agencies, these ABC 123s, right in their face, going like this. And they're like, maybe if we vote, they'll stop doing this to us. Look at you, blackies. Why don't you just get in line and just grovel harder? And black men are like, nah, bro, that's not going down like that. Now, again, you can go find a bunch of poor or rich or, whatever type of people who have no idea what they're talking about and be like, look, this is a stupid black person. Or the same thing with white people. Oh, look, it's stupid. But the average person's like, nah, man, like, y'all be taking a lot of money. Like, what is one person's, like, some Hunter Biden or some what's that other dude's name? Not Mark Zuckerberg. It looks just like a different version of it. Looks like the version 2 of Mark Zuckerberg. He's married to one of Trump's kids. I can't remember what that guy's name is. Jared Kushner. He looks like Mark Zuckerberg fucking version 2, right? What does this person need with all this money? What do you need with billions and trillions of dollars? And I'm not saying you're a businessman, you earned it, but you just like show up and you're just taking and just. And then they're like, oh, I got mansions and stuff. That's a couple million. But billions? What did you do with all this money? Right? And the average American's like, maybe there's something wrong. But again, these black dudes are saying, y'all going to have to pay that back. Because you don't really need all of my money. If you're sitting there saying, we don't have any money for you, again, friends of mine are in Appalachia right now for this disastrous hurricane. Helene came through, devastated Appalachia mountain regions because it's not supposed to rain hurricane force winds and dump just gallons and gallons of water out the sky in a few minutes in the mountains, because that will create mudslides, will create just torrential downpours. I was in Waynesville, Missouri, 2013 when exactly that happened, and we went and looked for people who were swept away by the water. Long story short, that happened there, and it's very bad, right? A lot of those people are now saying, why does the government intentionally want bad things to happen to us and they're not helping us? And I'm not wishing anything bad on them, because I've had some of my friends that are going up there. I'm helping them. I've donated to some of my friends that are going to come out with videos. I haven't said anything because I don't want to like snitch on them or whatever. But a lot of these people are like so hurt, which they should be, because it's very terrible. We're trying to help them out and do videos about it and actually send stuff to them. They're shocked that the government would go out of their way to either have something to do with something bad that happened to you and then pretend we would never do that. Look at how great. Look at my picture. Look at me. Look at my office photo. Do you think I would ever do that? Yeah, actually I do. Or when something bad does happen, never let a good crisis go to waste. I can't believe it. Yes. Yes. The entire time it's all fake. Yes. Yes. Just because we're good at bouncing back and we invent stuff to make our country great doesn't mean that they're not the same as any of these other regimes and dictators all around the world. Like, oh, communism. Where do you think they invented it at? Over in New York, they're like, all right, go send the Bolsheviks to fucking Russia so you can mess them up. Welcome to that. Where you live. Oh, I hate communists. Okay, then why do you literally go along with the same type of stuff, except it's just labeled differently? You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? If you hate it, why wouldn't you just not actually do the same stuff? And like I said, there's a guy on YouTube, Anomaly, right? He said that Republicans are just Democrats from he says 5 years ago. I say 5 minutes ago. Because although some of the things are slightly different, in general, they're not going to buck the government and stop doing what the donors and all this stuff does. It's all the same. So when these black dudes are like, nah, we're not going for that. Oh, are they going to join the Republicans? A couple of them do, but the majority of them, we're just I've never been part of your political system. I just know more about it than people who are in it because they want to be in. They want to be like, yes, we're having fun. It doesn't do anything for me because it's just a bunch of people who want to pretend like they're solving problems and they want to wait 20 years to solve the problem instead of doing it now. It's like, well, if we solve the problem now, I wouldn't be able to just go to my cousin's house for Thanksgiving and look and be like, yeah, we're going to get him in the election. I don't care about your little beef with the other half of the suburbs or the city or the rural. I don't care with the family beef. I have family beefs because they're like, you don't believe in politics. Yeah, because you're all stupid. I don't care. I still love you, though. But y'all are wrong because you're literally trying to see this tree, right? Let's say a tree, for example, through a political lens. Oh, the Republicans or the Democrat, this tree, how... That's how stupid you sound, right? These black dudes not going for it. They're like, nah, we're not going for this. Why don't you participate in the back and forth? Because you're just wasting time. Fix the issue now, or we're going to come for that money. Like I was saying earlier, if y'all can send all this money to Ukraine, and then obviously that stuff's going to fail, and where are they going to take all these failed political movements and dump them? They're going to dump them in Florida, where I live, and they buy these people mansions. So yes, I can complain about my money, but wait, actually, matter of fact, they bought me a mansion with my money. Let's go pull up and see what's going on. Y'all having a pool party? Is that Nancy Pelosi? What's up with them stocks? Hey, what's up? Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at. And a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to get them in the election. Why are you waiting? Why don't you just stop taking them seriously right now? I'm not saying go out and do a terrorist attack or anything, but like, people come to me every day. Because I grew up around a lot of Christians and a lot of different religious people because I grew up in the South, grew up in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, right? They were taught stuff their whole life and it's just crumbling before their eyes. Like, what do we do? I'm like, believe what you're seeing. They're like, I don't want to. Well, you're going to keep getting it. You're going to keep getting it. That's not fair. And then they turn around and complain, I can't believe the left and the right. They're doing the left is doing this or the right's doing that. But it's like, what are you doing about any of these issues instead of just complaining back and forth, right? And then actually running out in real life. This isn't the internet. In real life, people run out and will kill somebody who's about to solve a problem because it then takes their whole life. They don't want to work themselves out of a job. Now, jobs are hard to get that are paying because the inflation and all this stuff is crazy and stuff. But yet some people are out here like, you, I can't believe black men, you're not voting. You're getting paid a lot of money to tell me what to do and to think, right? Who's paying you for all that? You got to be getting good money to sit there and not have an actual job or your job. It's campaigning 24/7. Well, now the election's over. We have a brief period where we spend all the money in the vacation. We got to go to the Hamptons, we got to hang out. We're going to go to the Hamptons. And then we're going to start the next political season right after that, because then you have the midterms, and we got to raise money all year, and then the next year, you see, that's the year that we got to spend all the money, and then the next year we got to raise all the money. For the next year, we're going to spend all the money. That's the system you guys are trapped in. You're not ever going to get anything done because you believe in the political. Oh, we need to. Meanwhile, people, they're pressing a button, making for trillions of dollars. I want this country. Yeah, I want to buy all those people over there. They're mine. Privilege. That's what you're dealing with. Oh my God, the government would let a hurricane devastate us and then have a lithium company come buy up. Yeah, that's what they've been doing the whole time. And if you've been doing this, because it hurts your feelings to hear about it, what did Immortal Technique say in this song? Right? Swinging the gat, ready to clap anything on the map. And now they're ready to bring it back. Oh, and now it's your turn to get one of those. Wow, this is terrible. Yes. If you're doing dumb stuff for no reason, eventually it's going to happen to you. Oh, they wouldn't do that to me. I literally work for the government. Wrong. You're the first person who's going to get bopped. But again, they keep hearing it. They don't want to hear it. Oh my God, why don't you vote for Obama? Oh, because people have been getting bopped for all these years, and the black dudes are like, nah, we're not having that. Oh my God. And there again, it also is not about the actual numbers per se. It is about numbers for regular elections, for voting, for local issues, for down ballot stuff. I understand that. That's very important. When it comes to this national election, this type of stuff, they need to have the perception of you believe these people, because you have to be in one or the other. So if you're in the Democrats, oh my God, we're going to save democracy, which democracy, like, are you sure this is democracy? Because that sounds terrible. This sounds That was terrible. It's all the stuff that's going on. If that's democracy, that's a tough sell for a lot of people because government thuggery and getting bopped on the head and being replaced by waves of new slaves. Hey, ask Nordstrom Rack and all these fancy companies for all these fancy clothes and people who are doing roofs where they're getting all these people to make and do all this work. America's just like, oh my God, there's no jobs, but shit getting done though. Who's doing it? If there's no jobs, stuff's getting done. Who's doing it? Are they paying those people? I think there was an article, and a bunch of migrants were stuffed in a hot, literal sweatshop out there in L.A., making $3 a day. If they were lucky, they probably didn't even give them that. To make the fanciest clothes, bro, it was like Nordstrom Rack. This stuff was like thousands of dollars for a bra, and they had a woman making 20 of them in a day for $2. Okay? They don't need to tell you where they're working them at. Again, black dudes are like, nah, we're not having this. Well, we need you to... Because the perception of these people being the great leaders of the free world, instead of a bunch of just wheeling and dealing, just who they actually are, then a bunch of other things are going to start happening, and that's not pleasant. And they want to maintain privilege, and they don't want to have to get their hands dirty, let alone see people angry with them outside their house or their business or their giant, manipulation and exploitation factory, let alone have to even think that they can't just have whatever they want at any given time. And if black men are like, nah, I'm not going for that, that's going to cause a lot of problems. Because again, they already have labor strikes. They got to shut those down every time. They already have all these other things going on. They got to shut that down every time. And if black dudes are like, nah, we're not going for that, it's just a straw that broke the camel's back. It's just one too many. And of course, it gets easily black. Oh, those democracy. Democracy is it's black men. It's your fault that we literally did all this stuff that we literally were doing, regardless of how anybody feels. It's your fault. So that's what they're doing. Obama's over here just hanging out with a bunch of people that are probably paid money to not do anything, or whatever it is that they actually do, agents and shills and stuff, to try to lecture people who work all day and actually build things and actually have to drive cross country delivering bulk supplies and doing whatever. Yeah. I look through paperwork and steal tax dollars. You don't know how hard I work. Yeah, sure. But anyway, that's the video. I know it's a little bit all over the place, but that's kind of how I feel like, they're trying to lecture black men, but they're out here literally doing everything else bad in the actual entire universe and skipping over anything good and just kind of just deleting all that stuff because they just want more money and claiming they're going to save you and wait till the election and then wait a little after that and, oh, well, we couldn't do anything. Well, even when I had the power, I couldn't do anything because they were hurting my feelings and they told me no. I know I was going to save the world, but someone said no, so, looks like you guys got to suffer and die and pay more money. But next time, I'll get them next time. So, yeah, we're not dealing with none of that type of stuff. And where black men go, a lot of people will follow if it's a positive thing. So, depending on what it is, for, hip-hop and, culture or, revolutions or, rights and, bust people upside the head, they got to go and stuff like that. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe. I normally do outdoor content. Normally don't necessarily do political stuff. Doing all types of things. But yeah, we'll definitely see you soon. And I got to go outside because my cats are about to get into a fight. And I'm looking on camera and I'm not trying to take them to the hospital again. So I'll see you later.